Thanks for tuning in to Lola.com's intern podcast, Internal Affairs. Before we get started, we'd love to invite you to the Lola.com Agile Operations Summit on November 6th in Boston, Massachusetts. Have you ever wondered why there isn't an event that's built for and celebrates the finance and ops people on your team? Well, now there is. With inspiring and educational speakers such as Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank, thought-provoking discussion, lots of good food, and tons of fun, this event is a surefire home run.
And for all of our listeners out there, we'd love to give you $100 off. Simply use the code FINANCEHAPPY to get $100 off. At a finance and ops conference, it's only apt that we try to help you save some money. And because Lola loves its student interns so much, just like us too, we want you to come for free. Use the code FREELUNCH because hey, you will get some free lunch out of it. Go to lola.com/AOS to buy your tickets today.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Lola.com studios in Boston, Massachusetts. This is Internal Affairs, the Lola.com intern podcast, episode 7. We're really cranking these out, Ramsel.
Yeah, I'm surprised. We're gonna actually have enough for a television
legit series.
Yeah.
Today our guest is Tailo Chow. You go by Ty, correct? Thanks so much for coming on the show. We'll start off. You're from Boston.
Yes, sir.
Like me, so local. You are a rising sophomore at Harvard. Mm-hmm. So tell us how you decided to stay local for college and what you're studying there, what else you're doing there. Yeah, we'll start with that.
So first, the reason I decided to stay local, it really wasn't a decision I really put that much thought into. I sort of had prioritized the school that I was applying to and the campus culture and what the schools I applied to, like what they offered. And it turned out just Harvard was the school that I got accepted into and wanted to go to the most. So location wasn't really a consideration I made. It was more that I was fine with staying in the area, and it was the school I most wanted to go to.
Cool. And what do you... Whoops, sorry.
No, go. I was going to ask, do you live at home? Do you dorm?
So I live on... during the year, or school year rather, I live on campus in the housing or dorms. But during the summer and winter, I stay with my parents. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
It's cost effective.
Yeah,
that's what I imagine.
So what are you studying at Harvard? What's your major?
That's kind of the $1 million question, isn't it?
I guess you're still...
he's only a rising sophomore. You have so much time to figure it out.
Clear it on the last possible day.
Yeah, I think I declare after this fall semester, leaning towards like statistics or economics, one or the other.
Okay. Was that an interest you had in high school that you wanted to continue, or is that something you kind of found that you enjoyed through Harvard classes?
So the former statistics, I took one statistics class, absolutely despised it in high school. But I think the topic itself is interesting, and that's hopefully enough to carry me through college with it, if I choose that. In terms of economics, I took no classes for that in high school. Sort of, I guess you could say, discovered it in college, and again, I find it very interesting. So it's a lot easier to learn something when you think it's intriguing or engaging.
Right, of course. Much like with anything, you don't want to be begrudgingly learn or get involved in something.
Yeah, like some things are hard because they're challenging, and some things are hard because they're just very boring. And I think that's a real difficulty. I think
that's a real problem with the whole education system, is that we force people to learn things, and it's either really boring and disengaging, so people think that they're bad people because they're not learning.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's a hard balance to find because you need to teach them foundational things that might not be interesting,
right,
in order to teach them the things that are interesting.
There's also, it's definitely the way that you present it or the way that the specific teacher presents it. Like, I also really did not enjoy my first stats class. And still didn't in college when I took another one, but here at Lola, we're doing a lot more qualitative stats as opposed to quantitative. And I found that I actually really enjoy kind of digging into that and seeing how I can represent that from a marketing standpoint. And it's I was just crunching numbers in high school and hating that. So there's always the other side.
I took I took chemistry in high school, loved it, coolest class, had a lot of fun. Then took AP Chem. The teacher just ripped the soul out of my body. I hated it. So never again.
That's the typical chem story.
Yeah.
I think that's the classic chem story, yeah.
Nice. So you're here for the summer at Lola.
Yes, sir.
and I'm assuming you're having a great time, but I won't make any assumptions. But I would love to know, how did you find your way here?
Well, first off, I'm having a fantastic time.
Not sponsored. Not a sponsor tag.
Not sponsored.
I got pretty lucky finding my way here. My mom has actually done some like consulting with Lola, work with Lola.
Oh, nice.
And so she was lucky enough, or I was lucky enough rather, that I was able to submit my resume, get an interview, and I suppose the rest is history.
So Ty, you're currently working on the product team at Lola with Rachel, who's our VP of product, who's awesome. So I'm sure you're doing some really cool and interesting projects here. Why don't you tell us some about those?
So one of the more recent projects I worked on was sort of creating and finding a better way to sort the feedback we've been receiving from our customers. So that's a lot of it's like kind of like grunt work, like dredging through all the feedback, reading through it, finding trends, and then figuring out a way to sort them in a way that makes sense, such that you can use it later in a more efficient manner to evolve the product into and add features that that customers are asking for.
Customer success is so critical to what we do. It's any startup to grow rapidly, but I particularly have been working with Mike Crawford and the customer success team, and just seeing on a day-to-day basis all the really small but kind of like experience improving things that customers recommend. And when we can like push that out within like a week, it just makes a huge difference in their whole experience. So having a better way to organize that is just like awesome. Yeah,
in some way customers, like if we take it from like a sort of like we use like an analogy of like writing, like customers are kind of the best editors because they are the ones using the product and can tell you like, oh, this feature feels bad, or it would be really nice if we could do this. So yeah, it's really important that we listen to them.
Nice. That's really cool, because it's exciting to know that whenever I build something out, that those are things that people want, and I get to receive that feedback back from a customer that like, wow, thank you for creating this whatever, because it actually is helpful, and it's very grounding to know that there are people behind this product and not just this amorphous piece of technology that you kind of just ship out.
When you have different departments working closely together, just like the three of us, all in different departments here, like I am more customer facing, and I'll end up actually getting the feedback. You'll process it, you'll work on it, and everyone just gets to like share in that small success.
It's the holy triumvirate really cool. right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. So you also have a bunch of interesting hobbies from the weird clicking sounds that we've learned about, but more importantly, you're also really into card tricks.
Yeah. So I have loosely like sort of practice, I guess, this thing. It's known as, it's a hobby. It's known as cardistry, like the word like artistry, but card.
Right.
It's a
cardistry.
Pun. Yeah.
Cardistry. Okay.
So it's it's not like magic. It's more like doing like flourishes with cards, making like cool displays and things like that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like a lot of picking up cards off the ground, which is less fun.
Right, because you mess up.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a cool party trick, I guess.
Right. So when you say like flourish, it's more about just how do you shuffle and move them around more so than like pick a card and
exactly. Move them around in a way that's interesting, in a way that like makes someone go like, how did you like do that? But not in a how did you find my card? Yeah. How did you move the deck sudden in that way?
So less magician and more like you're a blackjack dealer and you're just like shuffling.
Yeah, sure. And looking. So like less like mysterious and more just like
it's more like how did you do that? Like I saw the entire thing happen. And that's still like really impressive.
All right, well that's cool. What's like the process of just like? I mean, I can imagine just a lot of trial and error, but like, do you have like resource that you like go for?
There's like a community of people that do this, and you can find a lot of like tutorials for different like moves and things to do online. So that's sort of how I started, and sort of how I am doing it right now still. The way I started was funny. I was just bored one day with a deck of cards that happened to be on my desk, so I picked it up and spontaneously, and just happened to really enjoy it.
Nice. I can imagine. Is that I've noticed in meetings? It's like you kind of also like people have things they need to do with their hands when they're busy.
Yeah,
like,
that's definitely true. I'm definitely one of those people that fidgets a lot. If you're like watching the video, you can see that I'm like moving in my chair a lot and have been for my like the whole the whole talk so far. And so having something to do with my hands, be it in a meeting, in classes, at school, or just like when I'm sitting around, it like keeps me focused, or it just keeps me sitting more still. Yeah. Or just gives me something to do.
Yeah, I'm a chronic like foot tapper because I'm like a drummer as well, so I'm constantly just like tapping in my head or humming because it does help calm my nerves at least a little bit when I have that anxiety just starting to pump out of me.
I'm just a spaz. I do the same thing, but I can't play the drums. So
you're just like boom, boom, boom. Unorganized, like slamming.
Yeah. So the card tricks and cardistry, as you call it, does that translate at all to being really good at card games, or is it just completely separate? Or are you also just good at card games? You could just be a card wizard, but
most card games that I can think of are more like mental than they are like dexterity with like digital dexterity with your like hands and fingers.
Right.
So I'd say that it doesn't really translate. Maybe if you had a game for like, I can't even think of a game.
One thing I was thinking of is, have you guys played multiple solitaire ever?
No.
I can't say that I have.
So multiple solitaire, basically, like a big part of the game is beating other people to put cards down in various locations in the middle of the table. So I'm always struggling because I try and like grab my deck and my hands like flying all over the place.
Right. Oh yeah, I think I have played this. This is a very fun game.
You pick up off of like your own array.
Yeah.
And then put it on a stack in the middle.
Yeah.
And everyone has
I
their own deck.
I think I have played this.
Yeah.
I think I played it under a different name.
I could see you being great at that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I think I'm just incredibly mediocre.
Okay, so not great
at most card games. Just consistently average.
That's okay. But you have some real skill, and so we're gonna celebrate those.
For sure.
We're gonna shift gears, and we're gonna put you to the ringer with some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'll give you a quick caveat though. They're not really rapid fire, as we found out.
No, we just want to learn some random things about you.
Go for it.
All right, first one, because you seem to be an advocate. What is your favorite Old Town Road remix?
What is my
And Jay, once he says it, can you please play it for us?
That's a tough question. I gotta go with I think I just gotta go with the Young Thug Mason Ramsey remix, just because it's hilarious. Yeah, just the idea of it's just ridiculous.
Can you sing it for us?
Not well.
I think we're gonna.
Ramsel's like, I do not want to hear that.
I value our listeners' eardrums too much.
Right, that's why you're not doing the clicking as well. Nice. All right, next one. You said you're pretty into video games. What do you think is the most underrated video game you've ever played?
Wow, that's a good question. Terraria.
Okay, that's like the not Minecraft, but like actually better.
It's like a 2D adventure game. It's a 2D adventure indie game, sort of with like sandbox RPG elements. I've put a solid like 700 hours into that.
That's
game.
real.
Yeah, which is very healthy.
Right, because the game's been out for like at least like 5 or so years.
Yeah, it's actually been out for a while. So that number's not as high as I've seen. So yeah, it's something that I've really enjoyed playing over the years, just like periodically. So yeah, I think people should check it out if they're interested.
Good time waster. Nothing too like heavy committal. You can just like start and go.
You can go at whatever pace you like.
Nice. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, sure. So back to something that I can actually talk about. I'm the worst gamer I've ever seen in my life.
Practice makes perfect.
Right.
I mean, you would think that, but every single time it just goes worse.
Right. It's crazy because you're like a pilot and you can fly these complicated things, but you can't.
All I can do is play Pokemon.
Pokemon's a good game.
Right. It's it flexes the mental a little bit.
So, best thing on Netflix right now?
Gosh, another good question. All right. So I'm something of what we in the business like to call a weeaboo, which means I enjoy the old anime.
Good old anime.
I would recommend Violet Evergarden, which is an anime on Netflix.
Okay. Can you give me a little bit about the plot? Why should I watch it?
Well, you should watch. Well, okay. So first of all,
give us the pitch.
Okay, first of all, it looks fantastic. It's just a very high budget anime.
Okay.
So the sound design and everything looks very nice, and that's probably the main reason why I watch it.
Because it just looks good. It's
yeah,
aesthetically pleasing. You can just like kind of zone out and stare.
I'll also be honest that I've only watched a little bit of it since I started it last weekend and haven't had much time.
But so it's like that good. You're willing to commit.
Hooked.
I can't give you like a full summary. I don't want to tell you something wrong.
Gotcha. And sometimes anime plots can be convoluted, that you might think one thing a weekend and it's actually something completely wrong. That makes sense.
Nice. Well, since Lola is a travel company, give us your favorite place that you visited.
I've been to South Korea once.
Cool.
And that was probably my favorite place that I visited. And what's crazy, they just like have really good Wi-Fi like everywhere. It's like insane.
What's crazy is that not only do they have really great Wi-Fi, it's that America has really bad internet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly,
the problem.
Exactly.
We have
so like
internet.
the gap is like twice as big because we're coming from like really bad to really good.
Yeah.
How long's the flight there? You can't go direct.
I think there's like a couple. When I went, I didn't go direct. But I think there are now a couple of direct flights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe so.
From somewhere on the West Coast,
Pacific Airlines. No, from Boston, I think. But
wild.
normally you'd go to the West Coast and then go there, or to like something like that. It's like I want to say like 13 plus hours. I don't remember though.
From here or from?
Oh, from
West
I want to say
Coast.
from like the West Coast, but
That's like a 22 hour trip.
Right, and considering all the time
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
shifting.
It was a while ago.
Your head's just spinning by the time you get there.
Right. That's crazy. All right, let's bring it back a little bit to the stuff that you're doing with Lola. So you've been having the opportunity to learn a lot about product and like taking in customer feedback and things like that. How do you feel like that is going to influence what you might end up majoring in college and what you kind of hope to be doing once you're kind of out of school?
And to add on to that, what's the most, sorry to piggyback, but what's the most surprising thing that you've learned working in product? Like what's something you didn't expect to learn?
Okay. So starting with sort of what I've learned and how I'm going to apply that. I think that my goal coming into this internship, being a rising sophomore and being like quite young by comparison to like most, I think I'm the youngest person here.
You are.
Yeah, I am. The youngest. I know I'm the youngest person here.
You're like not even 20 yet.
Yeah. I came in sort of with a very open mindset of I want to learn about businesses and I want to learn sort of what skills and what goes on inside a business. And I think in large part I've learned a lot. Obviously have not learned anything since it's probably not possible, but I think I've learned a lot. And I think to your question, Jack, like the biggest thing I've learned is that like business, especially at the startup level, it's like messy, like organized chaos. Like there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of moving parts. All the departments have to coordinate with each other. Someone might think of an idea like today and then be working on it tomorrow. So they have to keep everyone in the loop, and you just sort of never know what's going to happen. Or I mean, hopefully you know generally what's going to happen. But there's an element of unpredictability, or like, and from that you sort of learn what you need. Like you need a lot of coordination and communication. That's a big thing I've taken away.
The organized chaos and kind of like the surprises that you encounter as like the weeks go by, I think is what makes the job so interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're at least once a week, I'm doing something I had no idea I would ever be doing.
Exactly.
Like completely different, just like realm of work, and it's kind of just like sprung upon you in a way that's like really exciting.
And we touched on this earlier, but like it makes it a lot less boring, which makes it a lot easier. Even if the work is challenging, it makes it a lot easier to do because it's interesting and it's like you said, it's surprising.
I don't think you can be bored at Lola. It's just not in the equation.
Not at all. All right. I think we're going to have to wrap this up because we're running low on time and we got to get back to the grind.
Grind never stops.
Yeah.
So you have an important meeting, I think. You're talking to Paul English, our founder. So yeah, more important things to do than you and me. But all right, well, Ty, thank you so much for coming on episode 7 of Internal Affairs.
7.
Be back with a couple more. I'm going to miss you.
I'm gonna miss you
Almost
too,
over.
man. We have 2 more episodes to record,
2 more.
and
maybe another surprise. I'm working on something. So
yeah,
stay tuned.
Wow.
even I don't know that.
Exciting,
So
exciting.
who knows what's gonna
That's
happen?
behind the scenes stuff. All right. Well, Ty, thanks so much. Ramsel, great job.
Thanks
See you
for
guys
having me.
later. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Take care.